Adjusting the width of columns and the height of rows is something every experienced Excel user knows how to do quickly and fast. It's the kind of feature that actually works best outside of the menu. Recognize that on the Home tab, in the Cells group, there are some formatting choices for row height, column width, etc. They work just fine, but it's usually faster simply to use double-clicking and right-dragging techniques to make these features come to life quickly and easily. It looks as if column B isn't wide enough. What do a lot of people do? And it's certainly not wrong. They point to the boundary between B and C, click and drag to the right. Looks like it's wide enough. And again, nothing wrong with that. I'm going to undo it and suggest a better way is simply to double-click the boundary between B and C, up where the letters are. Double-click. It automatically adjusts the column to take into account the very widest entry that might be in the column. Keep in mind, if you make a change here, maybe we'll add a word here to your engineering maintenance and control. The column does not become wider. If we double-click the boundary between B and C, however, it will react to that new change. And if at a later time we take this out and press enter, it doesn't readjust, we'll simply do this. And so you can easily adjust the width of a column by double-clicking. And that's analogous to that feature on the menu that you might have seen here called Auto Fit Column Width, but we don't really need to go there since it's so fast to do the double-clicking. Now, let's say our column is too narrow. I'll make it too narrow on purpose. Column A looks like it's too wide. Scrolling up and down there, yeah, it's too wide. Let's take care of all these at once. I think many times what you want to do is to adjust multiple columns, maybe for the moment just the two of them. So we'll drag across columns A and B, and we can either double-click the AB boundary or the BC boundary. Doesn't make any difference. We're about to make best fit apply to both columns, just like that. And if the columns are not adjacent to one another, if we want to adjust column D and column F, I'll make column D unnecessarily wide. Column F is too wide. We select the columns in no particular order, click one of the column letters, then with the Control key, click the other one. And now all we need to do is to double-click either the boundary between D and E or the boundary between F and G. In other words, the right boundary of one of the selected columns. Double-click, and we've adjusted both of those. Now, even better maybe in the long run, you've got a whole bunch of columns. This one's too wide, this one's too narrow, this one's messed up, and you got other columns off to the right too. You don't know the state of all of them. Why not just click in the upper left corner here and double-click any column boundary between any two letters? Double-click right there. All column widths are adjusted throughout the worksheet, way over there as well too. So easily handled. Occasionally you want to adjust row height. However, a lot of times this happens automatically. For example, if we change the font of these cells here, using the font adjustment here on the Home tab, 16, as we slide across these, you can see how row 1 is getting taller. And maybe we'll make it 12. We certainly do have the option of making these rows taller. We might want to make just the first 3 rows here taller for whatever reason. We'll drag them to be a different height. Probably what we would really do is select the entire worksheet this way and then maybe make these all a certain height. That way, this way, whatever. When we want to do that sort of thing. If you double-click the boundary, maybe these have gotten too high or you displayed them that way temporarily, click in the upper left corner, double-click any of the boundaries between the column letters. It automatically adjusts the row height of all of these. So different approaches here. And again, just by double-clicking, we get things done pretty quickly. And let's look at the state off to the right here. Maybe we have a different perspective here. If we want all these columns to be a so-called best fit, and we're not concerned about the data over in columns A and B for the moment, we'll just highlight these cells, double-click any of the boundaries here, and they're all a best fit. Now, they're not all the same width. Column P is wider. If we change one of the numbers in June, maybe instead of, for the sake of argument here, I'll make this go over 1,000. I'll make that be 1150. Notice how sometimes, as in this case, the column width adjusts automatically. If you put the mouse pointer on the right side of the column letter and hold down the left mouse button, you see its actual width. That's 70 pixels. We'll just leave it that way. The right boundary on column N is 60. And that's going to be the same also for April, March, January, and February. Now, what if we want these all to be the same width? Highlight just those and drag any one of them, say the widest one, drag it slightly to the right or left, make it whatever you want it to be, but when you let go, you've made all the other columns be the same width as well. So you can see how easy it is to adjust these. And nearly always, the way we've shown you here, using double-click or dragging and also selecting multiple columns, is the fastest and most efficient ways to adjust column width and row height.